I'm sure I'm not finished. But I have no idea what I'm gonna do next. My kids are grown. I'm basically alone.
This is what the future of promiscuous modern women looks like. Pamela Anderson, Post-Wall 304. Welcome to Manager Highlights Daily. Once again, shout out to Mr. Miles for his donation and recommendation of this Pamela Anderson documentary, because it's pure gold. Our previous video goes into the impact Pamela Anderson's irresponsibility had on her children. This video highlights the experience of a promiscuous woman, the mindset, the mate selection, and the consequences of promiscuity. Pamela Anderson is a great example of what the future of many modern women will look like.
I woke up at Mario's and went home to change, went to Scott's. I'm sorry, that's weird. Why would I even write that down? Because God forbid you do a documentary one day in your life and you find out what kind of a whore you are.
This is hindsight, fellas. In hindsight, she looks back at her past and realizes what a hoe she was. Only when the damage is done do they come to their senses. But do they? Do they really come to their senses when the ride is over? We're gonna break this video down into 4 chapters. Chapter 1, Women's Fixation with Bad Boys. Number 2, Modern women rise and fall with their looks. Chapter 3, Nice guys finish last. Number 4, Invest in cat stocks, not financial advice. Shout out to the Patreon gang, salute! The original video is gonna be on Patreon because we have to respect the YouTube guidelines. That's why you will get a censored and filtered YouTube friendly version. Certain clips will be frozen or excluded. So if you like what we do and you want to experience our content to the fullest extent, support us on Patreon. This video contains a lot of spoilers, so you've been warned. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we many.
From the beginning, I've been drawn to different types of bad guys. One of my first boyfriends, he had a habit of trying to chase me and run me off the road, like run me over if he saw me. He kicked me out of a moving car, and I did a gymnastic dismount into a ditch. So, things that come in handy.
This small clip says so much about why women love bad boys. There is always a story to tell about a bad boy. This whole documentary is based on drama, the roller coaster life. All of these Netflix hit series are based on men causing drama. They become hit series because women love drama. She's laughing when she's telling the story. You would think to yourself that kicking a woman out of a moving car is a despicable thing to do. But these women will come back for more because it makes them feel alive. The feeling is addictive. The part that women won't tell you is that a lot of times they are instigators of this drama. Why does this guy throw her out of the car? He just felt like it? Women know how to push a man's buttons. Women know what a toxic man is. She said it herself. She was drawn to the bad guys. She knew what she was getting herself into.
After I graduated, I wanted to see what was over in Vancouver. And when you grow up on an island, the mainland is a very scary place. And my mom would say, but you can't go to Vancouver because someone just got shot in Texas. I was like, that's pretty far away from Vancouver. And she'd go, it's all attached. Don't go to the mainland. I went on the ferry and I got there, and then eventually I met somebody. And I moved in with him, and he was having an affair with somebody. When you see your boyfriend washing his penis in the sink, that's a sign that they're probably having an affair. And I wrote it down, washing penis in the sink. Suspicious.
Classic trademark of a bad boy is that he is attractive to other women. It doesn't work if other women don't want him. All of these stories about this guy kicking her out of the car are not valuable if the guy is not attractive to the sisterhood. The Tinder swindler wouldn't be a success if the guy was not attractive. After all the negative information came out about him, he had another woman ready for the ride, ready for some drama. Now take a look at your screen and see a percentage of Pamela Anderson's body count.
I'd rather have love for an instant than a miserable life. I love being in love and being vulnerable and being giving. It's the only way to live life. Vulnerable.
I'd love to live a romantic life every day.
This is just a fraction of her body count. These were 8 different guys and they were all actors and high status men. She talks about romance, that Disney fairy tale, and we're gonna break that down in a different video. Because for this video, we wanna focus on the essential part that women refuse to grasp when they get ran sprinted through by these bad boys, chads, high status men. Check this out.
I met Kelly Slater on the set of Baywatch. He was my big love, actually. He was such a sweetheart to me and so good to me. Oh, there's Kelly, when he had hair. So handsome. He's definitely handsome. I dated Kelly all the time. I mean, Kelly and I were together in between lots of boyfriends and lots of girlfriends for him too, but it wasn't just me.
Like sitting next to my girlfriends and my girlfriend and my friend.
He definitely was a heartbreaker. I mean, he just was a free spirit. You couldn't get your hands around him. But you don't own anybody. Nobody owns anybody. And just to let them be who they are sometimes is better not with you.
Pamela Anderson was hot in her prime. But you have to understand, these guys have access to women like her all the time. Pamela Anderson is just another notch on their belts. Just like Pamela Anderson, these guys were not casted for their acting skills. They were casted because of their looks and charisma. Eye candy. Women don't care if the bad boy doesn't want to marry them. These guys don't have to lie because women will break the rules for these guys. It's okay to be kicked out of Chad's car. Women want this hookup culture. We've exposed it many times on this channel. Women are responsible for hookup culture, and it's only a small group of guys that are having sex, and it's the same group of guys. Top 10, top 20%. It's not a surprise why these relationships are short-lived, because they were never meant to last. They are sleeping with these guys for clout, for validation, while friend-zoning husband material.
I dated a few other actors, but only for short periods of time. Who else was I dating when I got there? There's quite a few men around. My girlfriend had friends who were Labatt's beer representatives, and they had free tickets to a football game. BC Lions, Canadian football. And I didn't even want to go. I mean, I wasn't that interested in football, but she really wanted to go. So we went to the stadium, and we were all wearing the Labatt's beer t-shirts. The cameraman zoomed in on me and put me up on the Jumbotron. And I remember seeing it going, oh my God, that's me. I couldn't believe it. And my friend that was with me worked for Labatt's, and he said, stand up and show your t-shirt. So I stood up, and they had me kind of going back and forth on the Jumbotron. They brought me down to the 50-yard line, and they asked me to do a draw. So I had to pick a number out of a bowl. And I remember looking up and thinking, it looks like 1 million eraser heads in the stands. Like, it was just huge, and just... They started calling me the Blue Zone Girl. And then Labatt's reached out to me to do a commercial for them and a poster. Then it was on Monday Night Football ads, and then it was all over the place.
What did she do, guys? What did she do? I'll tell you what she did. She showed up. That's what she did. And the doors opened. Women learn this at a very young age. We have a video of an average-looking 15-year-old girl that gets flooded with DMs from guys just for showing up on TikTok and Instagram. This is where the shift in mentality takes place, and all of that equality foolishness goes out the window. and women become a bunch of one-trick ponies. Showing up is the trick. Remember, this was 1989 when Pamela Anderson got discovered. I've read Brittany Renner's book, and she explained how she became Instagram famous. She did not have to go to Hollywood or sit courtside at the NBA games to get access to these high-status men. They just slide in her DMs. What did Brittany Renner do for that? Nothing. Just show up. In this case, show up on Instagram. The problem with one-trick ponies is when a one-trick pony's trick fails, it can generally have major consequences for the success and well-being of the person or the pony. This is how Pamela Anderson looks now. Yes, she hit the wall, and yes, she looks good for a 55-year-old woman. She's supposed to look like this. Of course, she's dyeing her hair, but at this stage, the doors are not gonna open like they used to, and modern women are not ready for this phase of their lives. They are not prepared for this stage in their lives, and they don't care because they prefer to live in the moment. There is no tomorrow. Forever 21. And that's exactly what Pamela Anderson did. And now she has to think about what she's gonna do with the rest of her life.
I'm sure I'm not finished, but I have no idea what I'm gonna do next. My kids are grown. I'm basically alone. But I kind of like this moment right now where I have no clue what's going to happen. And I know I supposedly at this part of my life I should be settled in somewhere, but I don't know. Maybe I'll know next week.
The average life expectancy for women in the US is around 80 years. That's a good 25 years left without pretty privilege. Do you understand why women on antidepressants are at an all-time high? This record will only increase. Don't be surprised when the number of women deleting themselves will also increase in the future.
Faster, baby! I've always had this property, and I abandoned it for like 25 years, so it was really rotten and decayed. But I knew I'd have to come home, and my parents were older to look after them. And then COVID hit, and I said, okay, I'm staying. And then, of course, I got a little bored, and I thought, well, I need to build this. So the contractors came, and I was like, oh, he's cute. Darn it. And then I got married Christmas Eve. But he's a good Canadian guy, normal. I just felt like maybe I need to try that. Yeah. Don't know. Again, sometimes I don't know if I'm alive or dead. But maybe this is just the time I was supposed to be home, I guess. I'm like a spawning salmon just coming home to die. No, I'm kidding.
This is pure gold. Women always tell on themselves. They know what a good man is. They come across good men all the time, but they don't see them. Good men are invisible to them. Even at 50 plus, a woman like Pamela Anderson only sees a good man when there's a black swan event, and she is forced to adapt. The lockdown brought a lot of females to the manosphere. Survival instinct kicks in, and now you're looking for stability and a good man to pick up the pieces. When a woman dates a good guy, it is like death to her. End of the road. That's why they settle for the good guy. Good guys are not considered exciting because they are predictable. They don't cause drama. They don't throw you out of the car so you can feel alive and have something exciting to share in your documentary. Check this out. In January 2022, Pamela filed for divorce from Dan after 1 year of marriage. I don't understand why this fool married Pamela Anderson in the first place. She has been married 6 times. Why in the blue hell do you think this is gonna last? The foolishness. She settled for Dan Pamela filed for divorce. Women file 80% of the divorces. Divorce rates only go up every time you remarry. Don't be a fool like Dan. You cannot save women like this. And Pamela Anderson is going to explain why you are wasting your time and you are better off investing your time, money, and energy in cat stocks.
I think what it all comes down to is that I never got over not being able to make it work with the father of my kids. And even though I thought I could recreate a family or fall in love with somebody else, it's just not me. So I think that's probably why I keep failing in all my relationships. And my parents, I think, were wild and crazy and madly in love and made stupid decisions and hurt each other and hurt us. But they stuck it out and stayed together. And I can see that they're happy now. So I think I'd rather be alone than not be with the father of my kids. It's impossible to be with anybody else. But I don't think I could be with Tommy either. It's almost like a punishment.
There you have it, guys. When we tell you not to date single mothers, it's not just because she has children. Nah, a lot of these baby mamas remain emotionally attached to the father of their children. And that's why we tell them to go back and try to make it work with the father. Because at this point, you're damaged goods to the men with some standards, unlike fools like Dan the cleanup man. It's hard for women to accept that. That's why women so often file for divorce, regardless of whether her husband is a good husband. And even if she's not a single mother, a woman with a high body count and a history of a lot of boyfriends experience difficulties to establish a long-term, committed relationship. This can impact their ability to form deep, meaningful connections with others. Once again, hindsight, another failed marriage, and she knows she is the problem. Dan, the cleanup man, was a good man, but he was not Tommy Lee. I like what Pamela Anderson said because this is the mentality of a lot of women. All or nothing. Dr. Ramen Noodles came after us because she took our video about not dating single mothers personally. She made a fool out of herself by not refuting any of the arguments we've made, resorting to shaming language, and she did it with a cat on her lap. Nobody gives a damn about Dr. Ramen Noodles' personal life, but she took it personally anyways because she hit the wall hard and the men that she wants are not looking for her. Probably because she is a single mom and has the all or nothing attitude. Dan the cleanup man is not good enough for Dr. Ramen Noodles. You see how easily she got triggered and lost all of the respect we have for her. People are single for a reason, and you don't need to have a PhD to see the red flags. That cat on her lap is a buying signal because this is the future of many women. Alone, bitter, with the company of many cats and wine. This is not financial advice. This is why you do your homework, your due diligence, because your time, money, and energy is valuable. Do not waste it on damaged goods. We just showed you what that looks like. You better take notes.
I'm sure I'm not finished, but I have no idea what I'm gonna do next. My kids are grown. I'm basically alone, but I kind of like this moment right now where I have no clue what's going to happen. And I know I supposedly at this part of my life, I should be settled in somewhere, but I don't know. Maybe I'll know next week.
Man, that's where we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.